Hello, thank you for joining us. We're here with New Life, the series of programs with Kabbalist Dr. Michael Laitman. We're here with you, two different studios, the days of the Corona. Hello, Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello to everyone. This is 1125 program, and I came with a lot of pain in my heart, a lot of concern, and many questions to Rav Laitman, mostly questions that I'm being asked as a father at home by my children, my young ones. And I would like to ask Dr. Laitman some of these questions. When you join me, and we'll connect together to the questions and the explanations of the Rav. Dr. Laitman, the first question I wanted to share you with is something I don't have an answer, not for my children. Like I said, my young ones are 10-year-olds, and not for myself either. But if I try to package this question in a few simple words, it's simple. When will this story end? Rav, it doesn't depend on the coronavirus, it depends on people. When people change and become an integral, beneficial part to all of nature, this coronavirus is just an indicator, a scale by which you can see how we're not identifying with nature, that we're a part of it, but a part that is destructive towards it. Now I would like to come with your feeling, even though we're in isolation, each in his home, but try to come to my home. My children, my youngsters are 10-year-olds, and they're at home now. They're doing distance learning as much as they can. Mostly they're in their cell phones and the screens. When they want to know when this story will end, when they will be able to go to their friends and to do all that they're used to, and their question is, Daddy, when will it end? What do I tell them? Dr. Laitman, when you become good children, when you're good children, what does it mean to be good children? When all of humanity enters the integral system of nature and identifies with all of nature to be friendly towards nature. To who? To where? Where will he enter? Who? To a system of nature which all of humanity will begin to behave with one another all together in such a way that the entire system will enter into balance, become friendly. Can you imagine, let's say, our body, where all of a sudden all of its systems begin to behave in a manner that each system does whatever it feels like. So the body can't exist. It truly begins to fall apart and die. So we are part of a whole system, and our participation is such egoistic in this general system of nature. We must receive a new feeling and mind in order to behave correctly with all of humanity. Oh, and I want now, in order to feel my children and pass on to them this information, I want to take them, and I'm going to stop being Oren, your interviewer on the program. I'll simply be my children, and you'll be me, okay? We'll do kind of a little role play here. Dr. Laitman, I'm willing. So I didn't quite understand your question, Daddy. When will this end? This will end when we are ready to behave in nature in a beneficial way, like integral parts of this whole system called nature. But we don't go out to nature at all. We're closed at home for several days now, and we don't see an end. We would really like to, say, go out to the park by our home, but we're not allowed to do that either. And now we're kind of in a little pressure cooker here between these four walls. No, I'm talking about nature, which is the still, the vegetative, animal, and people, and they're all in balance between them. How is that connected to us at home now? You are, although at home, but you are a part that belongs to the general nature. Who is the general nature? What is it? The general nature is the system which connects you all together. The way we influence each other, also Earth, with all of its parameters and all of its details, and also the plants, the trees, and so forth. Also the living bodies, animals, fish, birds, etc., and also people. We are all, as we are with Earth and upon Earth, we are all an integral system altogether. What is that word, integral? We're all connected to one another in a way that we are all belonging and dependent on one another. And when each of us changes, he changes the others, whether we like it or not, in all kinds of directions. So what does it mean that the first answer that you said to me, the first sentence you answered me when I asked you, Daddy, when will it end? You said to me, when you'll be good children. Yes? How is that connected to this whole surrounding this ecological system of Earth and the fish and the birds and people? Because out of all of nature, only still vegetative and animal are in a state of balance between them, because they don't have free choice and they don't decide to behave this way or another. They behave according to their own nature. And man, a person, behaves according to how he decides, above his nature that he was born with. And then he uses all these degrees of nature, still vegetative and animate, which are below him, in an egoistic way, and bends them the way he feels like. He destroys Earth, empties it, he destroys the plants, he destroys the animals, and eventually also the degree of the people, the way he relates to people. That's why when we relate in such a way to the inanimate and to the vegetative and animal and speaking, we are destroying this whole global integral system that is supposed to be in mutual support to one another. And then we bring this system to a state that it's out of balance. And then when it comes out of balance, it kind of dispels out these forces that are like viruses, like fires, like all kinds of things. It expels things outwards this way. And we're coming now into such an imbalance in nature that there is no more already. We have come to what's written in the wisdom of Kabbalah, that we have come to the last generation, to the end of the way. If we don't change, we have no right to exist upon Earth. You know, when you spoke now, I was reminded by something we learned in nature, in science, that people make Earth dirty, and we're living next to a park. And before the days we went out, I remember that every Sunday when we'd go through the park on the way to school, we used to see lots of garbage, because on Saturday people come to the park and they leave all their waste. So is that form in which we people make the world dirty and don't recycle and all that I was taught about in the school, is that connected to Corona? Because now we don't make anything dirty at all because there's no one in the park. So what does it mean to be good children? I didn't get that exactly. Corona is a result of the imbalance between us, between people, where we have destroyed Earth already and wasting it and destroying it and bending it as far as still vegetative and animal. Now we've come to a point of the speaking, the relations between us. Between people? Yes, between people, where we hate each other, we're getting close to war, where we don't know what to do with the human society. Look at what's happening in every country. And then, now when this virus is being revealed, it's operating in a direct manner against the human society. So what I understood is that this whole story with the Corona will end and we'll be able to leave our home and go to our friends and everything like it was before a few weeks ago is when the adults will stop the wars in the world between them, between the countries. Yes. Also. Not only, but also. What else? When they change their attitude towards one another. It's not enough to stop the wars. Stopping the war does not mean that we're in balance between us and with nature. What does that word balance between people mean? What is it to be in balance? In balance where I relate to all of nature nice and good, like nature relates to everyone. So you're saying that stopping the wars between the countries is not enough. What else do we need? We need to relate nicely, especially to people, to the inanimate, to the vegetative and animal, in order to not harm them, to let them develop correctly and nicely, not to be the harming part to the still vegetative and animate, and also to be a specifically friendly part towards the speaking part in nature. Who's the speaking? The people? Yes, people. So to relate nicely to each other, that's the key. That will cause all this craze to end? Yes. So I want you to explain. I'll give you an example. At home now, we're daddy and mommy and 4 children. And we have at home a few computers and a few laptops and TVs, but not everyone has a room that it's only his room. And there's lots of instruments. There's a piano and a guitar and drums. And we many times are fighting with one another when I can play the piano, when I can do sports live with my friend on Zoom, because everything that someone does, it's kind of influencing everyone, because we're all together inside this apartment and we're not allowed to leave. How is that connected to relating nicely? What in such a reality does it mean to relate nicely? What is it to relate nicely? To be considerate. To be considerate with who? With the others. My brothers, let's say? Your brothers. Each one, let's say one has a headache, the other one has a bellyache, the third one wants to sleep, so I don't play. But how long can I not play? Until I don't bother them. But they're not considerate of me. They need to be considerate also. What, we are going to go and bother each other until that's it? There's no end? Look, in the beginning, I had a little bit of patience in the first few days, and I was really trying because also daddy and mommy talked to us, and we would do it because everyone's at home. So we'd have lunch together, and we're not used to that either. And daddy and mommy were at work, and we were only used to meet in the evening sometimes. Now we're relatively, every lunch and every dinner we're eating together, unless someone's annoyed with everyone and goes off. So we talked about the fact that we have to be considerate. Just like you said, we have to be considerate, we need to relate nicely to one another. But after we talk about that, and it seems like everyone says, yes, okay, we will try to be considerate. And we even made a summary. We said, okay, at this time you're allowed to play the piano. From this time to that time. From this time to that time, you're allowed to do sports on live with your friend on the phone. And it's like we tried to make an order to it. But then, it's problematic. Because I don't have patience for everyone to be considerate of them all the time. I'm not, Rav, that's their nature. There's nothing to do. I understand you. They're not capable of being good children. They're not capable of being considerate of one another. There needs to be a system that cares for them in a persistent way, where you're constantly in it and they're in it. And that's how it is. That's also towards children. That's also towards adults. We are all like that. Throughout our lifetimes, we just develop in the bad way. What do you mean that in the bad way? More egoistic. I, throughout my life, become more and more of an egoist. I'm not capable of being considerate of others. I don't have the strength to talk about it. I don't have the strength to be considerate of it. It's truly so. This is clear to us. What can we do? That's why the wisdom of Kabbalah comes, and this is what it takes care of. Exactly this, and nothing else. It says, our goal is to come to one will help his friend. To come to what? One will help his friend. What do those words mean? Is it from the Bible? Yes. What do they say? That every person has to help the other by what? By acquiring the force of good in our attitude and relationship between everyone. How to help? Let's say, how should I help my brothers that don't have patience and they're in nerves and they're exploding? But if we hear that there's no choice and we must connect between us only in a good connection, then let's us start showing each other specifically in such a way, demonstrative way. Let's start to show how we are good to one another. We do love one another. We do want one another. Why? We have no choice if we want to get rid of the coronavirus. If we want to get out of our house at some point, we really want, we're exploding already. So please, only in this way. Only in this way where everyone, all the people will say unanimously, we want to get out of our homes. We want to get rid of this coronavirus between us. And let us start relating to one another nicely, specifically. What does that mean specifically? Specifically means against our nature. Against who? Against our nature. What does that mean, against our nature? Against the desire of a person. Let's say a child wants to play the guitar. Yes, right. Sometimes I want to play on my guitar. They tell me that you have 20 minutes to play. Wonderful. But now I feel like playing. Not when you give me 20 minutes tomorrow evening. I want to play it now. I want to play the guitar now. I'm nervous. I don't have the patience for all this craze. I take my guitar, I sit down, and I want to play a little bit and just calm down. And also my sister comes and says, but we decided that you're playing tomorrow evening. I want to play now the piano. Yes? So what will you do? I'm asking you. I don't know what to do with her. You have to do what she wants. Why? She should do what I want. But that's not according to the order that you decided upon. But I have to. No, I have to. Then she also has to. Yeah, that's exactly what she says also, right? So what will be? I don't know what will be. What you decided in advance, that's what needs to be done. Only now comes the question, where will you get the strength? Exactly. So that's how you should ask it. Where will I take the strength to stop myself, to restrict myself, and to say to her, my dear sister, my beloved sister, you can play the piano, and I will be happy to hear how you play. That's how Daddy says to her, that he'll be happy how she plays, but I want to also play. Well, try to say it that way. But you will see what peace will come to the family. What do you have from you standing now and making a pose? Well, where I don't want. But you have turn tomorrow. I want now, but you have your turn tomorrow. No, I want for her to bend and to give me her time. How could it be? But she doesn't want also. She's an egoist just like you. Well, so what will be? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You understand that you're wrong. You understand that you're not right, but you don't want. Right. So what do we do? I don't know. We need education where, despite the fact that I want, I nevertheless overcome and come to concession. Now you can ask, so what do I get from these concessions that I have to do from morning till night? I'm fed up with them already. Oh, so ask. I'm asking in your place all the time. I'm fed up. All the time my parents are telling me, give up. So I'll answer you in your place. You need to say, by this, by me giving up, by me conceding, and I can, with force, not to let her play the piano, maybe, right? And I can forcefully play my guitar, and I don't care about anyone. Exactly. But I'm not right. But I overcome, and despite the fact that I'm not right, and despite all of that, I let her do that. Why? Why? I want to bring the world, the force of good to be revealed. To who to cause it? To the world, to nature. I didn't understand. So here again, first of all, here. Then when you have so you'll have what to think of. Okay. You tell your nature that you want to give a place for your sister to play the piano, and altogether you want to give up to the whole world. Let them do what they want. What do you need just the piano and your sister? You have other sisters and brothers to deal with. You want to simply come to a state in which you give up to everyone. Let it be good for everyone. Why? Because you want, by that, to balance the world, to calm down the world, to bring to the world the force of concession, the force of good, by which this virus will disappear. Because it came because of the lack of balance that we have in this reality. That's it. You do that, and another one, and another one. All of a sudden, we will see that the world becomes calm. Everyone gives up, concedes themselves, and lets others get away. And everyone becomes with a smile to each other, a nice attitude towards each other, calm and peace. And now, after we did that, this action is called tzimtzum, restriction. Let's decide who more, who less, who first, who next can receive what he wants. So what do we learn from this? Like in a family, we start with the babies. Whoever is smaller gets first, and then second and third, according to age. And that's how it is until we get to the age of, let's say, 30 or 40, 50. Then it goes the opposite. Whoever is older needs also to receive more faster because he doesn't have the strength. He has to maintain himself. We need to help him, and so on. Meaning there's a certain line that goes this way, upwards this way, and then after age 60, we have to start related to the elderly, like the children. So it's like I need, if I understood, I need to be like a Superman that saves the world? Yes. Saving your soul, saving your life, your family, your children, yourself from this virus. Now tell me, where does Superman get his... even if I want to be Superman, I don't have strength, I don't have Superman. So where will I get that strength from? He'll be what Superman? The fact that he has hands like, arms like an elephant? What? No, it's clear to me that what you see on the movies of Superman, it's just kind of, it's make-believe, but he's good, he's got a force of good, he's always against the bad ones, and he saves the whole world, right? So where will I get that good strength, how do you call it, the strength of concession that will save the world? Where will I take it from? I'm not Superman, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just a little child. We will help one another and demand this force of good from nature. We live in nature, and this nature doesn't have the force of good. There's no force of good in it. Let's take it out. It's also here, but it's just hidden. Who's hidden? The force of good? I don't have it. I mean, I know that I don't have it. Of course you don't. I don't demand you to have it. I don't have it either. But we can receive it from nature. It's hidden. This force of good. Let's demand. Let's together, me and you, and with some other people, I see we have now on our screens many friends. Let's all ask together for the force of good to be revealed, for the force of good to be revealed in us, so we will be able to relate nicely to one another. And then you will see how the world suddenly will receive light, a new form. There's no problem. Well, tell me, Rav Laitman, I'm on purpose talking to you in such a way like to the little children, because I understand that you are much above that, but this is maybe how we need to start to talk to people today. Now, when I finish this conversation with you, and this evening we'll sit with the whole family together and we'll have dinner, so always, other than each on his screen and his phone, Daddy and Mommy always say, let's talk about something together. So today I want to tell them about something that we're going to talk about together. What is it worthwhile for us to talk about together? Let's imagine our world. Our world, do you mean our home? Because we're not going out anywhere. Let's imagine our home, so it will be good for everyone. Of course, we can't be good just to this person or to that one or to the other, but rather, how could it be that it'll be good for everyone? Let's dream, let's fantasize. What does it mean? The good, beautiful apartment, the example family, the example of a home. Talk to them about that. I like that. I understand. I can see. So let them all smile that way. Thank you very much, Rav Laitman. I will do that today at home, and next time we meet, I'll tell you how it was. Thank you very, very much. Thank you too, dear viewers, for being with us. New Life, for learning how to live good.